Alright. I told you I was coming back with season 1, episode 7, Beauty in Black, Even Playing Field. So the episode starts with Norman arriving at the tow yard where they found Anya. He's trying to find answers, trying to find out what happened to his wife, and the guy who's in the booth, he tells him he doesn't know. So, they both exchange, apologies for condolences for both his brother and his wife. They talk a little bit. Honestly, y'all, I thought Norman was going him, but as it turns out, he didn't. He noticed a picture that a car his brother was standing in front of, and it was a yellow Porsche, y'all. Don't forget, yellow Porsche. And so he kept looking at the picture while he was talking to the guy in the booth. And so when Norman didn't get the answers that he needed, he actually ended up leaving. So in the next scene, Mallory was about to leave the office and she hear Roy comes in, and y'all, he is high as a kite. Roy asks Mallory, why do people think that she run this company and not him? But in reality, she really does run his company. And again, his ego is so fractured and bruised. He's just a messed up person. He's just threatened by his wife. He's jealous of his wife. He's just evil. He can go. So he threatens to sabotage the lawsuit. Like, I feel like the only reason he wanted to go talk to the lawyer, Lena, the lawyer, I want to say that's her name, because he wants to prove a point, but at the same time, you're sabotaging what is already what's happening. You're adding more fuel to the fire. So we get back to the hotel. Barney walks back in the room and apologizes to Charles and tells him that he loves him. Charles wants Barney to actually come out and be seen and gay and proud and all of that. And Barney is not embarrassed by who he is. He just says he works with the good old boys, and in the good old boys' eyes, that's frowned upon. Even in Horace's eyes, that's frowned upon. Even though we know that Horace is secretly gay, but he will never admit that. But as Barney said, do you think your dad would allow me to work for him, knowing what he would know about me? And so Charles looks at it from a rich, spoiled kid's point of view. He had to tell him, you are rich. You was born with money. I had to work hard for what I had. So I don't blame him. He's not ashamed. He's just knowing how to play the game and to have his bag secured and keep his bag secured. There are things that I'm very private about. So we get to the next scene with Kimmy and Angel. They walk into the club, and we find that Angel told another dude at the club about him robbing Horace, and the dude is supposed to help him, and it's another dancer. And the dude also has informed his dudes, what they're supposed to do and how they're supposed to take down Horace and rob him, steal his money or whatever. And so we see Body and Delinda, we see Body in the locker room, and she talks about this new 16-year-old girl, and I just kind of think it's going to be Kimmy's sister, because I want to say she alluded to that before, but she's talking about how she wants this new girl, trying to make Kimmy feel threatened, and the whole time this lady doesn't want your spot. She doesn't want nothing. She actually wants out, but because Body is so consumed with being an HBIC, she wants to keep her title, and she aggravates me. And so y'all, we get to the next part where Horace pulls up at the strip club, and we see that yellow car. Now, keep in mind, that's the yellow car that was in the picture from the last episode. This is the same yellow car, but we know that to be the yellow car is Charles's car. So, when Horace saw the car, he actually pulled into the back of the strip club. And so we go to the back of the strip club, and y'all, it's a whole outside orgy. Baby, they are doing the most back there. So Kimmy, no, yes, Delinda tells Kimmy that Horace wants to see her, but this time he's outside. So in their brain, in Delinda and Bottie's brain, they're thinking that she's gonna go outside and be of, you know, everybody else, baby, because it's a lot going on top the hood, inside the car, outside, people hanging out the window, baby. That was a lot. And so Horace tells Kimmy that he doesn't want to meet at the Red Roof Inn anymore, that he wants to meet somewhere else, and that he's going to give them the address. And he actually, you know, gives her the address. They leave and just kind of go from there. So I want to say he gave her the keys, and then they parted ways. But before they parted ways, he gave her money to give to Delinda, because y'all know they're giving most of their money to the strip club, keeping them broke all the time. So in the next scene, Jewel called Norman and said he needed somebody. Oh, he said that I heard you needed a cleanup team. And he tells Norman tells Jules that his wife, that Anya, passed away, and so Jules was like, I'm sorry. And at this point, Norman thinks Jules is full of it, and nobody trusts Jules at this point. But I need to know what's going to happen in the next, whenever it comes back, what's going to happen with Jules. And so I want to say Jules asked Norman if he trusts him, and he said no, and Norman hangs up the phone. And then we see the next scene with Calvin and Mallory, and they have their little moment in the elevator and blah blah blah. And so we get back to the strip club, and everything is over. Charles had already talked to that guy. I don't know his name, but it was one of the dancers. Talked to him at the table because he was trying to get him to fool around with him. So the dude was like, meet him. They was like, meet them in the bathroom, and so he met him in the bathroom. They both was snorting that stuff, and he was in there getting high. The dude tried to put him on a wall. He was like, no, come to my house, and it was just a lot. So then we get to the later on part of the strip club where Charles is completely passed out because he was high, drunk. He was just passed out. He wakes up, comes to, and realizes they stole his key. They stole his car keys. They stole his money. They stole everything that he had on him. So his drugs, money, and his car keys. So Angel, we get to the next scene where Angel and Kimmy is headed to the address that Horace gave him, and they pull up at this really nice single family home. It was really, really nice. And while they're driving, Kimmy gets a phone call, and it's Rain. And we thought Rain had went on to be with the Lord, but she is alive and well and kicking it, and is at the hospital that Horace's family has paid for. And so that's when Kimmy gets, she has second thoughts. Like, she was so confused because she was like, is this you, Rain? Is this you? And so Rain was like, yeah, but she still was trying to come too, because she still was out of it from the pain meds and all of that. And so we're now in the, I want to say they're now on the inside of the house. So they tell they tell Kimmy to she can stay downstairs. The Horace and Angel was upstairs, and so Kimmy is still on the phone with Rain, but she looks at the cameras and see the guys coming in, and so she hurry up, runs upstairs, and she was like, we telling Horace, we gotta get you out of here. You know, we gotta go. You know, there's some people coming up here. We trying to save you. Blah blah blah. And so it was just too late. So the guys came in and knocked everybody out and was, you know, trying to him and whatnot. Was asking him where was the money, and they looked inside of the under the bed. He was like, it's under the bed. They pulled the mattress up and they see the safe, and it was like, you playing with us? And he was like, no, I have to open the safe. So he ends up opening the safe, and he gets up and sat in his seat, and they didn't realize he done sprayed everybody. All of them was gone. Like he everybody with bodies everywhere. 4 bodies in that quick second. And so he pointed the gun to Kim and was, you know, was like, you set me up. You know, he was at this point, he was really mad. And so Angel ended up confessing and saying, no, it was me. It was me that did this. It was me, you know, that set it up. And so he was like, start talking. Why? And so she finally explains to him the reason behind everything that she did. And I was like, oh my God, about time. Like, you could have just said this, because this was just wrecking my nerves. Like, you're not saying anything. And so it was just a lot. It was a lot. And so she told him about the judge that Jules was paying off, you know, that helped get everybody off, but they still would be indebted to Jules. So he told them the judge's name. And so he told them, I don't know y'all, I never met y'all, and that was that. And he told them to leave, and they left. And so we get to the private road where we see the yellow car, which is Charles' car. And as he going up the private road, they have men on each side. They shot that car up, and then it flipped up and blew up. And this is where the episode ends. This was a lot, okay? This was a lot. This was a lot. I'm gonna come back to y'all with the last episode, because I really couldn't stop watching at this point. I just needed to get all 3 out of the way. So I will see y'all in the next one. Peace.